Regret. It's one of the most painful feelings we have, right? It's all about looking back at a mistake. But what if you could flip that whole idea on its head? What if you could use the power of regret to look forward? Well, today we're going to dive into this really cool mental model called early regret. No, seriously, just think about that for a second. Regretting something before you even do it. It sounds completely backward, doesn't it? We're all taught that regret is something that happens after the fact, a consequence. But what if that's not the whole story?
We've all been there. That sinking feeling in your stomach when you realize you should have listened, you should have taken the other road. It's those if-only moments that just play on a loop in your head. It's painful.
So this is what we'll call late regret. It's the classic version, the one we all know and, well, don't love. It shows up after the damage is already done, usually because you saw a warning sign and just kind of walked right past it. That's really the heart of it, isn't it? It's a regret that just comes too late. Sure, you might learn a lesson for next time, but it can't fix what's already broken. The timing is just terrible. Okay, but this is where it gets really interesting. What if we could actually grab that awful oh no feeling, not as a reaction to a mess, but as a tool to avoid making the mess in the first place? What if you could actually feel the regret first? Okay, so let's just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got late regret. It happens after the event. It's triggered by some external warning you ignored. And the result? Sadness. But then, look at early regret. It happens before the event. The trigger isn't external, it's your own deep thinking. And the result isn't sadness, it's prevention. It completely flips the script. So here's the secret sauce, right? Early regret is your own built-in internal warning system. You're basically running a simulation of future failure, and you're doing it so vividly that you actually feel the emotional pain. And that feeling, that simulated regret, becomes this incredibly powerful motivator to change course. So how in the world do you actually do this? It's kind of like a three-step dance. First, you contemplate. Let's say you're launching a huge new project. Don't just make a list of risks. Really visualize them. See it all failing spectacularly. Second, and this is the magic part, you feel as if you actually let yourself experience the sting of that failure right here, right now. The missed deadline, the angry client, all of it. And finally, you use that gut punch feeling to prevent. That feeling becomes the fuel you need to find a better path forward. Okay, I get it. This might still feel a little abstract, a little out there. So let's use a really powerful analogy to make it feel more real. Picture this. You're having one of those awful dreams, the kind that feels totally real. You've made a terrible mistake. You lost something precious or really hurt someone you love. And you feel the full, crushing weight of that regret. It's just overwhelming.
And then you jolt awake. Your heart is pounding, that sadness and anxiety are still hanging on you, but then it hits you. This incredible, massive wave of relief just washes over your whole body.
That's the moment of power. You realize none of it was real. It didn't happen. You got to experience the full emotional simulation of a disaster, but with absolutely zero real-world consequences. You felt the pain, but you didn't have to pay the price. And that, right there, is what early regret is all about. It's like having that dream, but you're awake and you're in control. You're using that simulated pain not as a curse to be afraid of, but as a gift. It's a crystal clear, emotional road sign telling you, hey, don't go down this path. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Hold on a second. Isn't this just a recipe for anxiety? Just worrying all the time about things that haven't even happened? And you know what? That is a fantastic question. And the source material makes a really, really important distinction here. This is the absolute key difference. Unproductive anxiety just piles on exaggerated fear and it paralyzes you. It makes you freeze. Early regret, on the other hand, is about proactive awareness. It's a realistic look at the impact. Anxiety makes you feel helpless. This way of thinking actually pushes you to take initiative, even if that just means knowing when it's time to ask for help. It's the difference between spinning out and focusing in. So when you boil it all down, this isn't about aimless worrying. It's about strategy. It's a tool that helps you be really honest about the impact of a problem, to understand your own limits, and to know exactly when you need to call for backup. It's all the foresight with none of the fear.
Maybe the best way to think about it is this. You're essentially placing a phone call to your future self, the one who's already made the mistake and lived through it. And they're on the other end of the line telling you, listen, here's where I went wrong, here's what it felt like. For the love of everything, don't do it. You get all their wisdom without having to get any of the scars.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question. Think about a big decision you have coming up, or a major project on your plate. What's a potential regret that might be waiting for you down the road? And what would happen if you let yourself feel just a little piece of it today so you can use it as fuel to build a much better and totally regret-free tomorrow?